As they say about the vulgar masses, the more people that flock to join a group, the more foolish they become. Regardless of how important someone may think they are, no, it's because of how important they are. That their presence is erased by the sheer force of numbers when so many come together. Everything about the individual, will, personality, and emotions have no say in all the matters of the masses. But aside from my antisocial proclivities, I hated the word fate. If our lives are already set in stone, then why are we born? There are those who are born into the wealthiest of families, and then those born into violence and poverty. Chance rules our lives, and the future is all unknown. At least, that's what I used to think. This is Myra, the only thing that holds me back from that mentality. For the longest time, I was without any sort of anchor, anything to prevent me from slipping back into unending pessimism. It's hard to define what a best friend is. Is it simply someone to rely on? Someone that can support me? Someone that makes me laugh and smile more? Someone willing to stand by my side despite my less desirable traits? Truthfully, having Myra as a best friend isn't simply because of her personality, empathy, or compassion, although I do admit that does play a big role. What she has that, quite frankly, nobody else does is genuinity. In this world of misunderstanding, she has been the only one to overlook my flaws. To throw away an honest friend is, as it were, to throw my life away. Everything seemed fine. We would hang out like we always did, but eventually she began ignoring all of my calls. She stopped replying to my messages. When she came over, it was as if her mind was in another place. I talked about our favorite things like we typically did, but she acted as if they meant nothing to her. This may not seem like a big problem to most, but for me, it was. Myra was the only person I could talk to, relate to. It was fate that I could thank for her. As she began to find more compelling people to hang out with, I was left behind. Like all friendships, at one point, we stopped putting up with each other. Myra became more ignorant. She started to distance herself from me. I always looked out for her, but it seemed like I was on the opposite side of a one-way mirror, always peering in. I see Myra, but Myra only sees herself. My relationship seemed to start breaking down. And then recently...
She got a rock hard body and curves in every place they should be. And I know I should go home, but her sex and this is not letting me leave. And I'm looking in the mirror, I don't even recognize who I see. Cause I'm feeling so cold, I can make a pool of love for free. Now she kissing on my neck and we both know where it's heading from here. I'm searching for my keys and I'll tell her that it's time to disappear. I'ma take her on a ride that she will not be forgetting for years. But all the dirt that I'm doing is bound to cause a whole lot of tears. My life been going one girl, two girl, three girl, four. I don't know what doing no more. 5 drinks, 6 drinks, sipping it straight. I don't need no mix so she can taste it when I kiss her. It's the lifestyle of the sick and shameless. Light it up, pour it down till we get brainless. Going out and bringing home strangers. Light it up, pour it down, this is getting dangerous. Her clothes are on my floor, and I'ma give it to her cause I don't know how to stop it. And I'm washing off my conscience in a river full of liquor.
I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you.
Everyone is a slave to their past, and Myra would be no exception. No matter how much you want to move forward, the past will just bear down on you. Time, which sees all things, has found you out. I didn't understand how she could just drive off. I wanted to call the police. She argued that I would lose my only friend if she got arrested. I didn't want to admit that was the truth. In this situation, I felt trapped. My sanity was on the verge of collapse. Should I let myself go? Myra returned to her normal life. oblivious to the effects of that night on me. It was as if nothing had happened. After this incident, our friendship was in turmoil. She lived on, but without me.
Do I swim with you? Do I dream the same dreams you do? I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about you. I've been thinking about
Thoughts rushed through my head. She doesn't deserve to live. Justice has to be served. She cannot get away with this. She cannot think she is superior. This isn't something I wanted to regret. I have no desire to suffer twice, in reality and then in retrospect. Quite frankly, I did society a favor.
Detective Ma, did you find anything?
No, I found nothing. There are no signs of a break-in. The victim lived alone, but there are signs of a roommate.
If the victim lived alone, it looks like a suicide. Victim's name is Delgado, female. I looked at her medical records and it said she had history of psychological disorders, so I looked through her phone and found some pictures. Take a look at this.
Oblivion, what a blessing, for the mind to dwell a world away from pain.
I love him to my core. I tell him I need him just a little